Ever wondered why you're hard winning a fight, then your Lunar Snow drops her ultimate for no reason?
What was that?
Or why 3 of your teammates have died, it's a hard losing fight, and you hear, "We are undefeatable"? This video is for all you strategist mains out there. Let's go over how you should be using your ultimates. 3 things you shouldn't do. Number 1, wasting your ultimate. It is important to understand what your ultimate does, its strengths, its weaknesses, and when you should pop it in the game. You need to analyze your team composition and identify dangerous enemy ultimates to counter. Figure out how many defensive ultimates you have. For example, if you are playing Invisible Woman and you have a Rocket Raccoon as your other healer, this is a huge indicator that you should be saving your ultimate to counter the most dangerous enemy ultimates, as Rocket's damage boost won't do much against the Psylocke or Doctor Strange ulti. You should be letting your Rocket use his ult aggressively and save yours for the defensive. If you know you only have one defensive healer ultimate but you use it to simply match an enemy healer ultimate, you are using your ultimate wrong. A good enemy DPS player will wait for your ultimate to run out and then take advantage of the fact that you have no defensive ultimate remaining, which will likely lead to a team wipe. Furthermore, don't use your only defensive ultimate against less threatening ultimates that can be dodged or dealt with, such as Hulk, Penny Parker, and Namor. Additionally, don't burn your ultimate for ultimates that usually lead to an instant death like Iron Man, or for a Doctor Strange Groot Namor combo ensuring the middle of his whale hits your entire team, which will lead to certain death. And finally, it goes without saying, do not drop your ultimate if a few of your allies have already died, and certainly not if you're the last man standing against a healthy enemy team, unless you're Adam Warlock. It's crazy how many strategist players burn their ults only to turn around and see their entire team has died before they popped it. Make sure you check you have a team with you before you put on a show. Number 2, double support ulting. Layering your support ultimates is a huge problem that I see in games of all different elos, and there's an easy fix. Communication. Talk in the voice chat or type in the game chat to coordinate with your other healer on who is going to use their ultimate first. It's as simple as typing "I ult first." I see so many games being thrown by this, even in high elo, as your team gets ripped apart by enemy ultimates in the next fight since you don't have a strategist ult up. This is the most important thing to avoid. And the third thing you shouldn't do is spam your ultimate. While it is tempting to spam your ultimate as soon as you charge it to flex on your teammates and boost your healing stats, these healing stats might mean nothing. I'm sure you have seen those Lunar Snow ultimates that have 0 impact and nothing dives. When it comes to healing stats, the leaderboard stats mean nothing if you're not using your ultimate correctly. Throwing out your ultimate as soon as it's charged and being ripped apart by a Psylocke ultimate straight after is not your DPS's fault. You needed to save your ultimate for this. However, spam ulting can be incredibly strong if you keep track of enemy ultimates. If the enemy is wasting their ultimates or you're charging your ultimate incredibly quick, it can be a good play to throw it out quickly. A good time that I utilize to spam ult is throwing my ultimate out as soon as I gain it at the start of a game, as healer ultimates tend to charge faster than others and can lead to a victorious team fight before the enemy even has their ults. Now here are 3 things you should do with your ultimate. Number 1. Counter enemy DPS and tank ultimates. Some of the most dangerous ones to look out for are Doctor Strange, Psylocke, Star-Lord, the Punisher, Hela, and Storm. There are some ultimates that are less lethal that you should try and simply dodge or out-heal, especially if you have the only defensive healer ultimate on your team. Some examples are Namor, Squirrel Girl, Moon Knight, and Magneto. There are also some ultimates that you can focus on interrupting instead of ulting, such as Spider-Man, Penny Parker, and Scarlet Witch. And if you get really good at interrupting ultimates, try interrupting a Doctor Strange ult. Number 2. Pop your ultimate to keep yourself alive. Even though it may seem like a waste sometimes, if you are the first one or one of the first that is going to die on your team, drop your ultimate to survive, but only do so if the fight can be winnable. There's no point dropping your ultimate to survive if a bunch of your teammates are already dead and the enemies have 6 players still up. Number 3 is coordinate your ultimate with your other strategist. Let your other healer know who is going to pop ult first and make sure you don't ult at the same time. So to summarize my tips on how to use your ultimate, 3 things you shouldn't do are: don't waste your ultimate against less threatening abilities, against certain death, or in a fight that's already 100% won or lost. Number 2, don't pop your ultimate at the same time as your other healers. And number 3, don't spam your ultimate because you want to flex on the scoreboard. Make sure it actually gets value. And 3 things you should do are: number 1, counter enemy DPS and tank ultimates and make sure you're aware of what ultimates are the most dangerous on the enemy team. Number 2, pop your ultimate to keep yourself alive if the fight is winnable. Don't be the first to die in your team. And number 3, coordinate your ultimate with your other strategist. Simply type I ult first. So just to round off the video, let's do a quick summary of how you should use each strategist ult. Lunar Snow, the strongest healing ultimate in the game. Use it to counter high damaging enemy ultimates and the most lethal ultimates they have. The damage boost provides little to no value and is risky if the enemy is dropping ultimates. You want to use this ultimate to keep your allies alive. Invisible Woman, her ultimate is second best to Luna to counter enemy ultimates because of its healing factor. It's a very useful replacement when Luna is banned. It is also very good for zone control. While the invisible effect is nice and can zone enemies off at the fight, it's important to use this ult to heal your allies primarily. Mantis, she has a great defensive ultimate to counter enemy ultimates, but can also be used offensively and to keep up tempo. It charges very fast if you hit your shots, and don't be afraid to throw this ultimate out to turn fights. Cloak and Dagger, use your ultimate to create pressure and push objectives. Swap to your cloak form and try get picks while your ultimate is healing you and your allies. You can also use this ult defensively, but it works a lot better on the offense. Rockin' Raccoon, drop your ultimate to combo with other allied ults like the Punisher. Rocket's ult can also allow enemies to die more easily inside their healer ultimates. Adam Warlock, do not res your team out in the open. Find a place behind a wall to drop your res while the enemy is expending ultimates to wipe your team. The res range is based off of Adam's model, so you can walk forward to increase its range after you cast it. Your teammates res with low health, so heal them as soon as they res. Do not use your ultimate while your other support is ulting, as your allies will not die. Loki, usually the best ultimate to grab is a healer ultimate. You can use it straight after your healer has ulted to make sure none of your teammates die. And finally we have Jeff. I hope this video helped you. Keep an eye out for my future videos with more advice on how to play Strategist. Thank you so much for watching.